TV fans, and welcome to Retro TV Trivia. I'm your host, Pat McCormack. Here, we take a fond look back at the era when network television was at its best. Today, we'll hear the first of a two-part interview with none other than Major Margaret Houlihan herself, Loretta Swit from MASH. Enjoy. Ladies and gentlemen, the incomparable Loretta Swit. Loretta.
Lovely intro.
Yeah, and I didn't even screw it up. I'm pretty good about it.
Look at you. You're just flying high there. Okay.
Well, you talked me up before I pushed record, and I certainly appreciate that. Such a gracious person. I knew that from our first connection, which is Golden Rage of TV, and then I have a series called Retro TV Trivia, and that's just to confuse you.
Okay, that's very little. I got it. I'm confused.
Well, and then I've expanded it to a podcast, which is what this is, and it's called Retro TV Trivia, so at least we're keeping things a little more in line. But the first connection was I did a video for sweetheart.org.
You do?
And it was just kind of a promotion for, your website and all the work that you've done for the animals and what you had available. This was a couple years back, and I put it up on Twitter, and you liked it.
Wonderful. What a wonderful connection. Oh, thank you.
Well, it lit me up like a Christmas tree, I'll tell you. I was like, she likes me. Margaret likes me. But that was how we first kind of made that connection. And I know that was you. And, it's funny, just a few days back, there was one of you with 2 lions that you posted. I think it was National Lion Day or World Lion Day or...
Lying around.
Yeah. Well, and there you were with these 2 lions. And I responded with majestic and beautiful. And the lions aren't bad either.
Yes, you're batting 1,000. I have to tell you, you're doing very, very well.
Well, you like that too, and I'm just like, man, I'm in there. So maybe we can talk now.
Well, what is remarkable that you and I are speaking together during the year of our 50th anniversary on the air, which in it of itself is so overwhelming, so astonishing that the other day, Jamie and I were talking. Jamie said to me, do you realize that we're on the air 3.5 hours every day? And I said, no, but okay. He said, I know who's counting, but he said, when you think about it, it's just astonishing that people love the show, pay tribute to the show. And of course, we are, as actors, so proud of the show. And there is this lovely little actor's prayer that I send to my friends every once in a while. It's funny, but it's also profound. And one of the commandments, let's say, it's a prayer. So one of the prayers, for example, there's one prayer that says, when I'm old, get me into repertory. But the one I'm most fond of, because it reminds me of our show. And this one reads, not just successes, but successes of which I will be proud of because they contain enough value. And I think of MASH in that way. I think it obviously remains relevant. People talk about issues that MASH dealt with in the 70s while filming about the 50s, or it just is astonishing that it holds true for so long, and 50 years later people are still saying this and this and this about the show. But I love that. Give me successes that are not just successes but have enough value for me to be proud of. And that says it for me with MASH. Success, yeah, overwhelming success, astonishing, global,
Right.
And this global MASH family that has thrived all these years. It's wonderful.
Right. Well, the staying power speaks for itself. And And yeah, I'm wondering. Jamie said that, and he said, did he also say, "Did you get your check?" Mine came yesterday.
No, he didn't say that, but I will check it out. I don't recall. But the truth of the matter is, I never see anything. I have, thanks to my buddy Wayne Rogers, this wonderful woman who does all my arithmetic for me. She does my taxes. She pays my bills. She's just Wayne Rogers trained, and she's astonishing and wonderful, and one of my dear friends. And she just takes care of me. So I get a check. It goes straight to Nancy. I never see anything.
Oh,
And so by the same token, I don't owe anything either, and my taxes are always on time, and we're never audited. Or so she just really takes care of me.
excellent. We got to have that. And how neat is it that Trapper's trainee is able to take care of Margaret's bills? I mean,
Indeed,
that's
indeed.
that's
And you
amazing.
know what? Quite extraordinarily interesting that Trapper in the number two position, let's say in the billing, and Mike Farrell, who came in to that position, took over as my brother. I mean, he calls me sis sometimes. I always call him bro. And he
Oh,
has taken over the spot. It's just without talking it over with anybody, that we
oh,
just fell right into that position. On the other
wow.
hand, McLean Stevenson used to call me Ma. He said he had never met any woman as maternal as I was. And actually, I think because I was the only woman in the group, the first five actually, I felt motherly towards them. I felt, or at least like a caretaker or something. I took care of my boys,
Uh,
call them my boys.
well, you sure
And
scolded him like my mom scolded me. I'll tell you, that voice, I can hear it.
I tried to discipline. Yes, I did, because you do that from love.
Well, and I think Frank liked it. So besides that,
Oh yes, he was particularly fond of Margaret's leather whip.
yes, yes. Oh my goodness.
uh,
Talk about two of my favorite characters, and I can't believe I'm actually speaking to one of them. But
uh,
that was kind of the
Larry
thing.
Linville, what an actor! What a you know
Oh, oh,
he
just
really did not get enough
time.
audience recognition, because as actors we knew what went into that character from this guy who was not remotely like Frank Burns. I don't think any living soul is. You know,
Let's hope not.
he was such a delight and such a good actor to work with. I
uh,
just really was blessed. And then,
well,
of course, to get David Ogden Stiers in there, a guy I mean, he was so trained he could go off on a week and do King Lear somewhere. I mean, David was our pride and joy in terms of uh, what can I call it, ability. I mean, he was
astonishing.
tremendous.
He was astonishing, and I
He
mean,
really,
it's
yeah,
kind of funny that I call him astonishing as I'm looking at the list of these players. I'm like, yeah, that Allen guy wasn't such a slouch either.
that's right. You just go through the list and you go, woof. These people, and of course, Gary Burghoff,
of course.
who brought with him all the fun and charge of his character, just stepped right in, and there he was reading people's minds and anticipating everything. But when I watch the show sometimes, I remember Gary was always a little kid to me when we were shooting. When we,
Hmm.
I always had to remind myself to talk to him as though he were an adult, because he was a father. He became a grandfather. It's like, and there he was with that little cap,
And teddy
sleeping
bear.
with
So maybe that was
his
the
teddy bear.
problem. I don't know. Go ahead.
Yeah, maybe. But the thing is, I was right there, and I'm buying it. Can you imagine? The audience always thought this was a little kid, and he was, and I watch it now just as a viewer sometimes. Gary was amazing. That character that he created, flawless. I mean, any moment in any frame, if there were all of us in the frame, look at him. He is totally in character, whether he's fixing those little glasses that he wore or looking around, or he just was that character. He just occupied
Yeah.
radar.
And what a catalyst, for
Yeah.
all of you guys to play off. And I mean, again, I'm still pinching myself that I'm talking to you, but
Oh,
because I
yeah.
was
Don't do that. You'll get black and blue marks. I
too late.
once said that to Colonel Potter. I said I'm still pinching myself, and he says, "Don't do that. You'll get black and blue marks."
It's unbecoming. Well, the thing that I've held dear to me again was I should admit it. I was a fan of the early episodes, just
Oh yeah.
because
Uh,
maybe because it was free, free and easy. Excuse me, fresh, and everybody was kind of finding their way.
yeah.
Not to say that I wasn't a fan of the later episodes, which I was,
Mm,
but the thing that I was thinking, I was like, it seemed to me like it was set up as comedy duos in the show, almost as though these actors had a sounding board, a straight man and a comedian, someone to play off. For instance, you and Frank and these your real names. Loretta
McLean.
and Larry is what I meant to say. Alan
Yeah,
and Wayne, McLean
McLean
and Gary.
Gary. Yeah.
Yeah. Was that something that you think was?
No, no. I think though, what overall the first three seasons, we actors were not the cause of the development in a sense. The writer producers came in with definite ideas of quote sitcom, which our characters, our acting, and our abilities saw much more to do than a quote sitcom. I never thought of us as a sitcom. I think there was so much there to to dig into, to plow, and I had the most to complain, if I can use that word. Like I'd go to Gelbart, and he knew the problem was I refused after a while to play a head nurse who wasn't competent and smart and in charge and inspiring. I said when I took the job, I said I want to be the best damn head nurse in Korea. Is that going to be possible, guys? And that you see what can't be misconstrued here is it doesn't mean I won't be funny if you want me to be funny, but it also means that I will handle the heavy stuff. I can do it all. I'm an actor. And so little by little, and that the writers were wonderful, allowing me some latitude each time. And then finally, one season, I was on hiatus. I was in New York doing a play, and they all got on a conference call, and we all sat down, and they said to me, "Okay, all right, you're on. What do you see coming up? How do you see her going forward?" And to this day, I remember I said, "She leaves Frank." Of course, Linville and I had discussed that we didn't think it was a gag that was not going to continue to work because I was playing her wiser. They were writing her
Right, right.
wiser, and they were writing him less than. He was an incompetent doctor compared to the other surgeons, and she respected the other surgeons even when they made fun of her or criticized her, teased her. But she always respected their skill because a head nurse would. And
Right.
here Frank is like the joke of the 4077th. What is she hooked up with him for? She certainly has no future. He's married. He's, they had nothing in common. After a while, you had to have Margaret saying, you know, listen, what did she call him? You chinless wonder, or
Oh,
you lipless wonder, or what? I mean, sooner or later, it was going to happen. So during this conference call, I said, send her to Tokyo for R&R. Let her meet somebody who outranks Frank on every level. Don't make him a doctor. Give him broad shoulders and tall, and give her something, to, and he's not married. He's single. It's just blah blah. And I said, and let me fall in love and bring him back to the 4077 and get engaged. I said, can you see Linville? Linville, will tear off the doors from the mess tent, and that's
uh,
exactly what they wrote.
oh yeah.
But it was a great time we had on the phone, and Gene was laughing. Gene said to me, "I love it. Now what?" I said, "Let her get married." Oh God, Gene Reynolds. He said, "Sweetheart, that's so permanent." I said, "Gene, you're divorced. How can you even say that?" So I suggested that she finds out he was disloyal, and of course, Alan wrote that wonderful two-parter of Comrades in Arms. He had written that show earlier, earlier than we finally did it. He told me, and he said that Gene and Larry weren't sure the audience was ready to accept that swing,
That
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 big.
that kiss scene, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so, well, in the finale, that's the longest kiss on TV celluloid history.
Of course.
Did you know that?
Well,
Yeah, yeah. We don't have an award to prove that, but it's been clocked.
that's amazing. I don't know why they called her Hot Lips for some reason. Like, we're definitely going to stay there for a while.
Yeah. Mhm. So that basically, that was for Margaret, um, and then we with the changes in the cast, it it was like a shot in the arm. To each one of us, you have to react differently because you're a living being. Even if you're playing a part, you're alive and you're going from moment to moment. And if you have a commander like Harry Morgan coming in, you're going to react differently than you did to McLean,
Right.
who was, buffoon, and we got away with murder, and whatever. And you couldn't do that with this new commander. So you had to make your adjustments, et cetera, and so forth. And so it worked to our advantage.
Oh yeah.
Losing wonderful people still, when they replaced, not replaced, because no, they were irreplaceable, but when the new folk came in, it gave us a fresh blood, fresh talents, fresh everything, and a new outlook. So we started going in a deeper direction.
Right.
It just went from there. We just kept growing. I have a wonderful card photo that I give out to my fans at the autograph shows. It's a picture of a leg that's been put in a cast, and I had everybody sign it. The cast signed the cast,
Right.
and the card reads: Years ago, we set out to break a leg, which you know what that expression means. Yes or no?
Oh, of course. That's
Okay,
showbiz. That's a
so
showbiz.
it says we set out to break a leg, and then there's the picture of the leg in a cast, and everybody signs it. And at the bottom it says, "The rest is history." And to me, that says it all. All we did, this company, this wonderful symphony of talent, just got it. They went in there doing their best. They fought for the integrity of the characters, for the scripts, for the stories, for the stayed as true to the reality as they could, and so forth and so on. And that was doing their best. And the cap is, and the rest is history. The Humanitas Award or the Peabody Award, all the Emmys and all the kudos, whatever, Golden Globes and so forth. That the rest is history.
Right.
The payoff for just doing the best work you can. But everybody on the crew, everybody, one year Alan bought us T-shirts that read "The happiest crew in town." Couldn't have been more accurate.
Wow.
People used to hang out with us just because it was fun, that come and visit the set because it was so much fun to be with us. The guests that very often would come back to say hello and just hang out, and it was a good life. It was a beautiful way to do your work. We love what we do. Actors, we have to, otherwise it'd be crazy. Otherwise you wouldn't do it because
Uh,
you know the business and
oh
what it
yeah.
is. So we love what we do, and if you're having that much fun, whoa,
Even better.
you've died and gone to actors heaven.
Exactly right. Exactly. And boy, what a cast to do it with. It's just a matter of fact, I know you've stayed friends with everyone, everyone that's still
It's
around.
more like a family. It's
That's
really
wonderful.
goes beyond friendship. We are a real family.
I understand. And I see that you have actually been traveling,
Yeah, we are quite a team.
hitting the autograph shows and thrilling fans everywhere, which I'm sure is just awesome. And yeah, again, we could just go on and talk about this show forever. I'm, of course, this is retro TV trivia. I just
That's
wanted
what's
to.
so remarkable. I mean, like it just really is a phenomenon.
It's
It
true.
really,
It is. And will last forever, in my
yeah.
opinion. And
Continuity is forever.
yeah,
I read that somewhere, and I thought, there it is.
right.
Continuity is forever.
Yeah. Well, I saw that you had appeared. Now, this wasn't the beginning for you. You had appeared in Hawaii Five O.
Oh, it was way in the beginning. Yes, way in the beginning, and I was very
That was the first. I think that was your first TV role, right? Am I right there? Or
yes, technically yes, but I was Jack Lord and I had the same way of working. Whether I don't. Everybody has a method, and I don't like to say method actors, but anyway, uh, I did a two-parter that was all about the germ warfare, which this was the late 60s, early 70s,
right,
pretty far fetched for the audience at that point. And so the actors had to really be in that mindset. They had to be reacting in a way that had no precedent. This was a life and death thing. The scientist is crazy. He's lost his mind. He's tired of wars, and he wants to put an end to the world. So he's going to he's going to plant seeds in the sand and make Hawaii disappear. So I mean, just saying it like this already, you're stretching your
it's
imagination.
it's
So
sci-fi.
so Jack and I, when I got there, the boy he was such a perfectionist. His hand was in every pie of that show. He made sure the scripts were good. I mean, he just oversaw everything, and he certainly talked to the guest actors, and so we talked about the reactions of this is a life and death situation. We've got to go way out there,
Right.
and so we just got along so famously that. Uh, and I admired him tremendously. For example, and a lot of people don't know this, and I want to write about it sometime so that they do know. This is having great insight into an actor you wouldn't have imagined of him.
Yes.
When he did Steve McGarrett, the character on Hawaii Five O, he never smoked. He said to me, I never want some young boy or girl out there thinking that's boy, macho. I think it's really macho because
Of course.
because Steve McGarrett, lights up and he solves crimes and he runs,
Yes.
whatever thing.
Right.
And he said, I don't want that as a part of my image on this show, playing this character. He said, so I never allow it, for my. The truth is, Jack was a smoker.
Yeah.
Jack, and then, and this is the story goes on. He was having a very big anniversary with his one and only, beginning to the end, wife
Oh.
that he was dotty about, and it was let's make it the 25th anniversary, whatever it was, but it was a biggie, and he said to her, Marie, okay, this is a biggie. You can have anything you want, whatever anything. You name it, you want that. The
Ah.
silver cloud Rolls Royce. You want me to take you around the world? You want what? You name it.
Oh, I think
I'm
I know
done
where this
right
is
now.
going.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. After offering her anything she wanted, she said, "I would like you to give up smoking."
Oh.
And he really, he said, I was so dazzled by this because I had just made these offers that were very costly,
Jeez.
And he said he took the cigarette. He had like some in his pocket, I guess. And he took them out and he scrunched them up in his fist and he threw them in a garbage pan. And he said, "You got it, honey. That's what you want. You got it." But she said, "Jack, I love you. I don't want to outlive you. I want you to give up smoking for my
Mm.
anniversary present." And he just quit, just boom, on his own. Very strong, strong, disciplined character,
Oh,
Jack was.
that's what it
Very,
took for sure.
yeah. Well,
Wow.
a disciplined professional. I mean, Julie Andrews said it once, and I thought yes, that's true. She said, discipline sets you free. It doesn't. And he was a perfectionist, and he was disciplined, and he was detailed, and he was very good, and he was very funny. He said, Swit. What kind of a name is that? And I said, it's Polish. I said, and don't ask me if I ever thought of changing it. I have every agent I've ever had.
Oh.
I said, but nobody ever came up with something, good. And a couple of weeks went by, and he said, "What about Mary?"
As a last name?
I said, "Jack, take a look." Yeah, yeah, I
Loretta
know.
Mary. There you go.
No, no. The thing is, the joke was he wasn't thinking of changing Swit to
Oh,
make
oh.
it Mary Swit. I said, "You lunatic!" And he once sent me something in the mail, and he made it my middle name, Loretta, parentheses Mary.
Oh,
But I absolutely adored the man. We would just sit around and yak and have lunch together or whatever. But I I loved the work I was able to do on his show, because I had such confidence and freedom with him.
oh,
I knew that we worked the same way, and it
oh,
was good. It was such a great experience,
that's
just wonderful.
wonderful. I'm so glad I asked that question.
Yeah,
I mean,
oh
those are
yeah,
great stories.
yeah, oh yeah. He really was a good friend, a great friend.
Oh, well,
Also, my Connors, which was my second job, or third. I actually think Gunsmoke might have been my first.
oh,
Let me give that some thought. I think I don't know. Okay, now Mike, of course, passed, and I was at the memorial because we stayed good friends from
mm,
the get go, and his son and I shared a birthday. His son was like my little soul brother, or
mm,
I don't know. We were connected,
mm.
and he also was so warm and open and friendly about the business. He would say, "Don't let them overwork you and kill you." He said, "Just take your, don't uh, keep yourself. Don't let it get you." Like
Wow.
he said, I'm taking my family away. They're not going to know where I am. I'm not going to give them a phone number. I'm going to be gone peacefully with my family for a week. And I don't want to hear anything from anybody. And he
Yeah.
said, you just have to kind of protect yourself. And he was telling me those things, my second or third job on television, but he felt that he wanted to share those kinds of things. And, but I did several shows with him on the show. But it was wonderful, very, very wonderful to have those friends. Millie Stone on Gunsmoke, just
Wow.
was a wonderful friend. Yeah.
It's so great to hear. You hear things about these actors, and they certainly their reputations, stick. And everything you've said about everybody is, holds true to everything that I've heard. And there's only one way to know for sure by talking to Loretta Swit, who's worked with them. You know.
I'll tell you a beautiful story about Yul Brynner.
Oh,
Now,
please.
I don't know when. I'm going backwards now. Okay, Yul Brynner was in a film with my best friend, really my ultra best, most wonderful friend, who died too soon, too young, she's been gone a long time. Madeline Rue.
Mm,
She's a wonderful actress and the most giving, most loving friend
oh,
anybody could have.
sure.
And she was doing a film with Yul Brynner. And she was hit by a car head on. The driver was drunk
Mm,
and he plowed right into her car.
mm,
And she told me this. She said, my instinct, she was so smart. She said, I reached up and pushed the mirror, the rear view mirror, out of my sight because I knew I was smashed up and I might faint if I see
oh,
what I
jeez.
look like. She said, I just pushed it out of the way. And she was right. I mean, she was banged up badly. And
Oh no.
so Yule took up took it upon himself. He was very fond of his cast. He liked everybody, and he's very fond of Madeline. And another one who made sure everybody was on the same page with their ability. You know,
Yeah.
it just makes us look better. If everybody's good, everybody's great.
Exactly.
Anyway, so he said he would like to stop shooting on the film until she was better and out of the hospital, out of surgery and so forth. And he wanted her in the hospital to know that she had a job that she was coming right back to. And he he salaried everybody during the holdup. In other
Wow.
words, it was 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever it was. He kept everybody on salary waiting for Madeline to come back.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
there you go.
People loved her. People loved her. She said to me one of the greatest moments she had, she was at some sit down big affair, everybody looking like butterflies. And it was the first time one of her friends, and she'd worked with Gregory Peck, had seen her after the accident. And he walked clear across the auditorium and he smiled at her. She got up and he took her face in his hands and he said, just as beautiful as you were, and
Oh,
kissed her on the forehead. And she was very special. But
that's beautiful.
that was, I mean, our it's funny, the greater they are, in my opinion, the nicer they are. They're able to, they're so confident they can give, they can be generous and loving and caring,
My
you
gosh,
know?
I think you've just proven that. But do go on.
Oh.
The greater they are, the nicer they are, and you're proving it right now, Loretta.
Yeah.
It's so neat that you have all these wonderful things to say about these folks. Just is.
These are true, wonderful stories.
Yeah.
Uh, Millie Stone was responsible. I didn't know this because it was after he died. They said they could tell me this. He made them promise they wouldn't tell me. But Millie Stone and I, we just we were friends from Hello, and to sit on the set and laugh. And I did several episodes of Gunsmokes, and yeah, I had a lot of fun with the cast. So Millie Stone, the first episode I did, called Paramount and talked to the casting director there. Her name also was Millie. And he said, there's a gal on the show. This is from Millie, eventually. Millie told me. Millie called her, Mil Burns called her and said, there's a gal on the show guesting, and she's so special. I mean, she's attractive, not in the slick, she's not.
Right.
She's got it all. She's a good actress, and she can do anything, And I mean, he really kind of raved about my work, and he said, keep an eye on her. He gave her my name, and she was, based on that, I was called in to read for Mannix and met my next friend, Mike Connors. So it was a lovely kind of thread that began to run through my life, and as it happens, all CBS shows. So by the time they're looking for Margaret Houlihan, CBS already is thinking maybe Swit, Mary Swit.
Mary. She's quite contrary. How about Mary?
Oh my God.
Thanks again for joining us on Retro TV Trivia. Be sure to tune in next time for part 2 of my interview with Loretta Swit. I'd sure appreciate it if you could take the time to rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast. You can also hit the share button to let as many people know about it as possible. I'm Pat McCormack, and we'll see you next time on Retro TV Trivia.